All right, so I was asked a question, a very good question, and I've answered this question before, but it is timely that I go over the subject again. From Barry Vallon 1072, who is the Angel of Yehovah? All right. The reason why people ask this is because there are writings in King James Version that say this. And so we will go to one. We will go to Judges 6, and we'll go to another one as well. And it'll become crystal clear that in some cases it was Yehovah himself. And we see in King James Version, in Judges 6 and verse 11, there came an angel of the Lord, it says, and sat under an oak, which was in Ophrah, that pertained to Joash the Abiezrite and his son Gideon, threshed wheat by the winepress to hide it from the Midianites. So, now I'd be happy to go over these things with you, teach these things, but I am not your teacher. Rabbi means teacher. I am not your rabbi. What I want each and everybody to do is learn to use the tools that I have shown you. The tool, in this case, being Bible Hub and Strong's Concordance. But once again, as I say, I'm happy to show you how I study the Bible and how I come to the conclusions that I do. All right? So, come in, or bo, means to come in. There came a messenger, Malach, of Yehovah. Now, Malach means a messenger, ambassador, envoy, or one sent with a message, or one who came with a message. Oh, you see, folks, how definitions are nuanced, folks. Now, so he sat down under an oak, which was an Ophrah that pertained to Joash the Abihah, or the Abihazriah, something like that. And the son Gideon threshed wheat by the winepress to hide it from the Midianites. And the messenger, Malach, of Yehovah, appeared unto him, and said unto him, Yehovah, strong and mighty man of valor. He didn't say, he said exactly that. He said, Yehovah, strong, mighty man of valor. And Gideon said, Alas, Adon, if Yehovah be with us, then why has this befallen us, and where are all the miracles which our Abs told us, saying, Yehovah brought us out of Egypt? But now Yehovah has forsaken us and delivered us into the hands of the Midianites. Now I want you to see something. Watch carefully. Watch carefully, folks. And Yehovah looked upon him and said. So was this the messenger of Yehovah, or was this Yehovah? Well, we read right here, it says, and it says Yehovah turned and said, go in this ability, and you shall save Israel from the hands of the Midianites. I have sent you. You just read it. Yehovah was the messenger of Yehovah. Do I have to read it again, folks? I'm not being sarcastic. What I'm trying to do is I want to show you that sometimes the obvious is not so obvious because our minds are a little bit dulled. Look, I'm right there with you. I experience exactly the same things that you do. Okay? So clearly it says, and Yehovah turned and said. So what this proves is many times in the scripture where it says, and the messenger of Yehovah was actually Yehovah himself. And this is proof right here. It doesn't say, and the messenger of Yehovah looked upon him. It says, and Yehovah turned and said. That's what it says. You have the ability, and you will save Israel from the hand of the Midianites, because I have sent you. And he said unto him, Oh, Adonai. Now, Adonai is a term that is used for Yehovah, I do believe, yes. So at that time he realized it was him, and he says, how am I going to save Israel? Behold, my family is poor in Manasseh, and I am the least of my father's house. And Yehovah said unto him, I will be with you. It doesn't say that the messenger of Yehovah or the angel of Yehovah said. And you shall smite the Midianites as if it was one man. Now, and he said, if I find grace in your sight, then show me a sign that you talked with me. Don't leave until I come back and bring forth my gift, my tribute offering. You see what it says right there? And set it before you. He knew at that time, he knew exactly who it was. And he said, I will wait until you come back. And Gideon went and made ready a kid unleavened bread, an ephah of flour. The flesh he put in a basket, and he put broth in the pot, and then brought it out from unto him under the oak, and presented to him. And now it says again, the messenger of Yehovah said unto him, take the flesh, the unleavened bread, and lay it upon this rock, and pour the broth. And he did so. And the messenger of Yehovah put forth the end of the staff that was in his hand, and touched the flesh and the unleavened bread, and there arose a fire out of the rock, and consumed the flesh and the unleavened bread. And the messenger of Yehovah departed out of his sight. You do not sacrifice to angels. You do not offer gifts to angels. They are only to Yehovah. And then when Gideon perceived that he was a messenger of Yehovah, Gideon said, Alas, Adonai Yehovah, because I have seen messenger of Yehovah face to face. And Yehovah said unto him, Peace be to you, or Shalom, fear not, you shall not die. But we just read, folks, that this messenger of Yehovah was indeed Yehovah himself. Because Yehovah turned and said, right here, and Yehovah, it says to turn. Let's look at this word carefully. Let's not, oh, he got up in his face is what he did. He faced him. Ah! He got up in his face. See what I mean? Use Strong's Concordance. See, I almost messed up. All right? So Yehovah got up in his face and said, face to face. There's no getting around it, folks. And when Moshe went to the burning bush, it was Yehovah himself, because he told Moshe, you are walking on holy ground, take off your shoes. All right? Or sandals, or whatever he was wearing. And Gideon was probably so poor, he couldn't even afford sandals or shoes. And he was probably already shoeless. Now, here's another one. Genesis 32. And there's a reason why I did the Gideon one first, so that you will get context. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man. A man? Was it really a man? Or was it that it appeared to be a man? By all appearances, it looked like a man. Same way with the messenger of Yehovah. Looked like a man, right? And there wrestled a man, an Ish, a man. Okay? It can be a fellow, it can be a father, a husband, a keeper. It could even be a oppressor or a slanderer. So it's a wide definition for this word. And that is why this word is actually appropriate. You see, it can be one who looks like a man too. Until the breaking of the day, and when he saw that he prevailed not, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh went out of joint, was dislocated. Just like that. So, he came as a man. Jehovah did, the Creator did, to wrestle man to man with him. And it said, when he saw that he prevailed not, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint, and he wrestled with him. And he continued. He wouldn't stop. Jacob knew who he was. And he said, let me go, for the day breaks. And Jacob said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. Now, who has the power to bless? Let me rephrase that. Who has the power to give the blessing that Jacob wanted? Huh? You know the answer. And he said unto him, what is your name? And he said, Yaakov. That's the proper way to pronounce it. And he said, the name shall no more be Jacob, but Israel. Because you persevered with Elohim. There it is again. Except this time, Elohim. Same thing. Yes. And with men, and have prevailed, and you have power. And Jacob asked and said, tell me, I pray you, what is your name? He wouldn't tell him his name. And he said, why are you asking my name? And he blessed him there. So who has the power to give this blessing? Come on, folks. And one more time, it says, your name, Jacob, but Israel. As a prince you have persevered with Elohim. And all the Jews know that it was Jehovah himself that wrestled with Jacob. And for that very reason, the children of Israel eat not of the sinew which shrank, which is upon the hollow of the thigh to this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the sinew that shrank. They know who did it. Okay. What do I have next? The Christians love to say that Jesus was around before he was born. Well, we're going to find out who Jesus is in just a minute, but Yehoshua was not. Isaiah 49. And this is a prophecy. Isaiah was a prophet. So this was a projection into the future. Something that the Moshiach would say to Jehovah the Abba. in prayer. Listen, you coastlands, and listen, you people from afar. Yehovah has called me from the womb. From the womb. Whose womb? Miriam's womb. From the womb of my mother, he made mention of my name. He first was given the name. While he was in his mother's womb, Gabriel came to Miriam and told Miriam what his name was going to be. It was not Jesus. All right? Luke 1. So this is where somebody talked about in Isaiah 49 was first given a name. And the messenger said unto her, Fear not, Miriam, for you have favor with Elohim, not God. And you shall conceive in your womb. No, not you shall. You have conceived. You have conceived in your womb, and brought forth, and shall bring forth a son, and you shall call his name not Jesus, but Yehoshua. What language was Gabriel speaking to Miriam? Hebrew. Judean, Aramean, Hebrew. Okay? So this is where he was first made mention while he was in the womb of his mother. Accuracy, folks, is important. He made my mouth like a sharp sword. In the shadow of his hand he hid me. Now, it says in the shadow of his hand, but wait, and made me like a polished shaft. So, in his hand, but he's hidden. He's a polished sword in the hand of Yehovah. Yehoshua is, okay? In his quiver has he hidden me. A quiver is a place you put your arrows. A man has arrows too and has a quiver for his arrows, so as to procreate. So when Yehoshua was formed from the womb, he procreated him from the womb. You see, Christians claim to believe that somebody is the son of the Father, as they say, but in practice they do not believe it. Because if he was an entity before he was born, or if he was a person before he was born, then, as they say, then they're denying Yehovah as the Abba, or the Father, as they say. You see, Yehoshua came from Jehovah's body, which is Ruach, or as they say in English, spirit. The Ruach Kodesh, aka the Holy Spirit. Now, and if you continue, you will notice how the Gentiles today under Christianity deny the good news, about raising up the tribes of Israel and to restore and preserve the people of it. They do not believe this. They believe in replacement theology, which is a satanic adversarial doctrine which Jesus, or the people of Jesus, preaches. You see, Yehoshua taught salvation of Israel and a light to the Gentiles. Jesus, or Jesus, teaches the Gentile church replaces Israel. So who is this Jesus? Well, first of all, let's go to, you see this right here, Christ of the Abyss. What is that all about? Well, that's over there in Italy. You know, right near Rome. In the abyss, which is the Mediterranean Sea. See, the word abyssos, the Greek word abyssos, which the Greeks used for many, many years, many centuries, as the Mediterranean Sea, and this is before they found out there was more seas around the world. Okay? So back in those days, the abyss was the Mediterranean Sea. Now, okay, so we have the fifth shofar sound, and talks about a plague. Verse 11 in Revelation 9, and they have a king over them, which is the messenger of the Abyssos. The Abyssos is the Mediterranean Sea, whose name in Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in Greek tongue his name is Apollyon. This is the adversary. This is the devil himself. You see, Yehovah has one name. Yehoshua has one name. But the adversary has many names. You know, the term that Christians like to use to refuse to acknowledge Shem Yehovah and Shem Yehoshua. So let's see what the JWs, they're not witnesses of Yehovah. Let's see who they say the angel of the abyss is. JWs and Abaddon by Jason Wright. They have a king over them, the angel of the abyss. In Hebrew his name is Abaddon, but in Greek his name is Apollyon. Now Apollyon and Apollo is the same thing. Who is the angel of abyss? Over the decades, the Watchtower organization has offered two conflicting interpretations. Well, Yehovah is not the author of confusion, so obviously he is not with them. Charles Taze Russell identified this angel as Satan, while Joseph F. Rutherford claimed that the angel to be Jesus. Well, I will tell you that they are both right. Because, you see, Jesus is not Yehoshua. He is the false idol. The Christ of the abyss. That's who he is. Now, where is it? Christ of the Abyss is a bronze statue placed on the seafloor of San Frutuoso Bay. I wish they have it on a map. But you see there he is. Would I find it on a map? Oh, wait a minute. There it was. Okay, it's right here. Christi degli Abyssi. Even that means Christ of the Abyss. Let's pull it back here. Let's see where it's at. Right near Genoa. Italy. So Rome is not that far away. So the angel of the abyss is the one who brings the fifth plague. He is Satan himself. Now, why? Why does this take place? Well, let me show you something here. Okay? His name is Abaddon. One woe is past, and behold, here comes two more hereafter. Now, then another one comes. Now, watch this. This is after the sixth shofar sound, the second woe, and the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils. Oh, you want to worship a devil? Turn it loose on you then. That they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass. This one in particular is of brass. As we just read somewhere in here. Now I can't find it. You can just of brass. Right? Yes, is a bronze and brass, essentially the same thing, statue of a devil. You see, folks? Now, there's one more thing, where Yohanan, not John, but Yohanan, the messenger who poured out one of the vials of wrath of Jehovah, was talking with Yohanan for quite some time here. And it says, I, Yohanan, saw all these things and heard them, and when I had heard and seen and fell down to worship before the feet of the messenger which showed me these things, then he said unto me, see, you do not do this, for I am your fellow servant, and of your brethren the prophets, and of them that keep the sayings of this book. Worship Yehovah Elohim only, not God or God. Okay? So, hopefully, so hopefully, this will answer your question. I think that there's more than enough evidence in this video. And there's more cases. I could show them to you, but I think that's enough so you can understand the nuances between the Hebrew language and the English and the Greek. But if you look for the truth, you will find it. I promise you, because I found it, but I had to look for it. Okay? You can look for it too, and you can find it also on your own.